Hello everyone, welcome to your next tutorial on CakePHP user authentication. In this tutorial, we'll look at CakePHP's timing. If you look into you'll observe that this time doesn't look cool. Doesn't look cool at all. So what we are going to do is to make it look cool using CakePHP's time. CakePHP already has time installed by default in the view, but if you want to use it in the controller, you will have to import it. Alright, so in the view, what we're going to do is to go to the created and use CakePHP's time. CakePHP uses a time package called Chronos. So you can Google it if you want to read more. I'll show you where to read more. So we are going to use the PHP tags. Remember that these are the short tags, you can use it. But if you're using the long tag, you must echo out everything. Alright, so we are going to say PHP echo. We're going to use the time class. We'll say this time. And then we're going to use a property called a method called Timeagoinwords. Tells us when something happened properly, not just spitting out the time there. So we're going to pass in the time. It takes at least one parameter. We're going to pass in the time, and we're going to delete this guy here. So let's go and refresh the page and see what happens. Keep your eye on this time. This time doesn't look cool, so keep your eye on it. So we're okay, so it tells us that this guy registered 2 days ago, and that looks cool, amazing. There are so many other things we can do here, like specify the format. And what if this guy registered like 2 weeks ago and we don't need it to tell us 2 days ago? Or what if this guy registered 5 years ago and we don't need it to tell us if this guy registered 5 years, 6 months, 2 weeks, 2 days ago? No, we just want it to limit to weeks. So what we're going to do is to add more properties here. So we're just going to do this, and let us work on the accuracy. So we're just going to pass accuracy. Do I still know how to spell accuracy? Accuracy. So we're going to say the accuracy should just get limited to get limited to week. I'm going to say week. So it should stop at week. So let's go and refresh and see whether what we did worked. So if it's 2 weeks ago, it just tells us 2 weeks ago. We don't need to know the extra 2 days involved. So you can use month, accuracy month, or day, or minute, hour, or year, depending on what you want. Okay, so it can just tell you that this guy registered 10 years ago instead of 10 years, 6 months, 5 weeks, 2, or whatever. So there are so many other things to use here. So I'll show you where to read it up on CakePHP's documentation. So you're basically going to go to since we already have it open here, so we're just going to go to CakePHP's documentation. So just go to cakephp.org, and when it opens, you click on documentation and click on book. So when this book opens, that's it here. You scroll down to the left and you see on date time, hit on date time, and you will see this. This explains everything and all the other possibilities about managing time in CakePHP. I just showed you the basics of it. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is to try and manipulate time right inside the controller. If we go back to our app and click view, just to see this guy, what we can do is to try and output something here. If the guy if this guy registered within 3 weeks ago, for instance. So we'll go to the user controller. To use time in CakePHP controllers, you have to import it. So we're going to say use. We have it imported, and the next thing we're going to do is to start using it straight up. So let's go to the view and start using it. So we already have this guy here. We're going to say check registration time, or whatever you want to name your variable. So we just say new time, then we pass in the time. We're going to pass in the time here, so we can just say that this guy and the time is in created, remember. So we're going to say this guy created, so we're going to start checking. We can say if this guy, if this guy, you can just say this was within last. It's a method in CakePHP that you can use to check things. Remember I told you you can read it up in CakePHP documentation. You can read it up right here. It's down the page. So we're going to check whether this guy registered within last 3 weeks. So within last, we can say 3 weeks. Then do something. I don't want to put anything in the page, so but we can just split it out. In CakePHP, you can use debug to split things out the page. Otherwise, if it was Laravel, you would use DD. Alright, CakePHP's debug is a much neater way to get this done. And so we're going to, if it was within this last 3 weeks, you can just say you registered within 3 weeks ago. So in your application, you can just use it to maybe give them a special discount by just checking this. Otherwise, we're going to debug again and say you registered more than 3 weeks ago. Alright, cool. So we're going to try and refresh this user page. This debug would kill the rest of the page. It will spit out what we have in the debug before the rest of the page. So we refresh and let us see what comes up. Okay, we have a syntax error on line 58. So we'll go to line 58. There is a syntax error. Yes, we didn't add this. And we'll refresh. And there we have, you registered within 3 weeks ago. Remember, this user's registration date is within 3 weeks ago. You know how we know, because this is within 3 weeks ago. If we go back, if we go to the front end, user, if we go to users and go to view, we can do a little manipulation created that tells us that this time ago in words, and we're going to pass created, user created. I'm going to delete and refresh. Keep your eye here. Oops. Time ago in words. We made a mistake. It's supposed to be plural. Time ago in words. So we refresh and we scroll down. So it's 2 weeks ago, which means 2 weeks ago was within 3 weeks ago. So we are correct. So depending on the manipulations you want to do on your user controller, you can always just import time and just the way I did here, and do the rest of your manipulation. So I'm just going to delete this because we don't need it right now. So thank you very much. See you in the next video where we do other crazy stuff.